Welcome to Andy's Personal Development, the place for transactional conversations. During these conversations, we'll discover intentionality and clarity, and of course, purpose. Now, here is your host, Andy Anderson Charles. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Transactional Conversations. I am your host, Andy Charles, a life coach and a transformational speaker. Today is not going to be different. We're going to provide you with quality content and information that will help you to continue to discover intentionality, clarity, and purpose. Our guest is giving us a whole lot of information, and I'm sure just as I can hardly wait, you can hardly wait as well. This episode is entitled Empower Your Inner Voice from Critic to Coach with Arlene Cohen Miller. So let me just tell you a bit about our guest. She is a work life balance coach and a professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. Arlene is also a Colorado attorney, a certified meditation facilitator, and has a diploma in transformational holistic counseling from Australia. And she's also the CEO of Jewel Consultancy. She said, I started my solo practice as an attorney 3 years ago out of law school in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, and immediately discovered that I was pregnant with my son. I've been working as a working mother, as a married, divorced, and remarried woman, and I've always been the primary caretaker. When my son was 9, I sold my law practice in Cleveland, moved to a suburb of Denver, Colorado, and became a partner in a small boutique law firm. Oh, there's so much more to this wonderful and engaging story, but I'm not the star of the show for the moment. Let's invite our guests live into transactional conversations. Here comes Arlene Cohen Miller. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and it's good to see you, and it's good to have you on transactional conversations with us today. So, Arlene, let me begin by asking you the key question. If you had the opportunity to tell the entire world in a few sentences what truly defines you as an individual, what would you say to them?
I guess that what truly defines me as an individual is just enjoying being of service and always checking in with my motives, and asking myself, what would love do now? How may I best serve? And I found that as an attorney, I find that as a life coach, you know, and I've also found that as a mentor. And so I guess that's the background of everything that I do.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And for all the posts or the core competencies that you have, the things that you do, is there one that stands out with regards to a certain level of satisfaction, or is there a level playing field across the things that you do?
Um, well, I really love everything about coaching and mentoring, and they all the topics are really, really important to us. To bring more of our whole self, heart and all to all that we do. And so you can't like say that the inner coach is better than being grateful, or that setting clear and appropriate boundaries is better than just taking that love and self-care that we need to give to ourselves so that we can give back to others. So I feel it's all important. It all comes together. It's all a part of, it's like the reason my company's dual consultancy is there. Those are all different parts of the diamond, all different facets of the diamond, but no facet is really, more important than another. They all really work together.
Yeah, and there's a sort of balance because they kind of complement each other to make the whole. I see where you're coming from. I observe that you're using the word love and self care a lot. How important is that for you in the things that you do to make a positive impact on the people's life that you serve?
I think it's really important because I find that the reason a lot of people come to me is they give and give and give, but they don't fill up their own cup with love. And so that
Okay.
cup gets empty. they get frustrated and all those kind of things come up and they fall out of love, and they get judge themselves for doing that. So it's really important, I feel, for everyone to find ways to fill your own cup up with love and to share that overflow with other people, so that you don't get, you don't feel like depleted. So it's an important, if you want to be of service, if you want to give back, if you want to do something in the world, whatever it is, whether it's from being a mother or being in business or whatever, it's important to have a full cup of love.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And thank you for sharing. We appreciate that and we appreciate you. So, with regards to the work that you do, how would you describe a simple way to upgrade a personal experience in life in terms of career, relationship, business? If you're an entrepreneur, how would you help someone to take their lives to another level so that it becomes much more fulfilling?
Well, I think that's part of our subject today, transmuting and transforming our inner critic into an inner coach.
Yes.
And I really
Yes.
feel that we need to keep things simple and not make them complicated, because I feel that most
Mm.
people have the ability to, like, if you had a friend that came to you, or someone that you loved, or just even an acquaintance or a colleague at work, and they told you all the things that you are going through, that are giving you trouble, that are causing you to bring you down, that are sapping your energy or whatever it was, that you would be a supporter for them. You would nurture them, you would care for them, you would champion them. If their head was, if they really were way down deep and they needed to really, take a step back, there might be some tough love there. Hey, look, you
Hmm.
really need to take a
Yeah.
look at what
Yeah.
you're doing to yourself. But we already have those skills. We don't have to go out and learn anything to read a book. All we have to begin to do is to transfer those skills to ourselves, to turn around and to nurture ourselves, to care for ourselves, to champion ourselves. And if we need a little tough love, to give ourselves some tough love. And so we don't have to go out and read a book or do anything, because we already have those basic skills. What happens is that a lot of people feel guilty. They feel like it's wrong to turn around and give yourself that. But how can
Hmm.
you give back to others? How can you be your highest, clearest, brightest self if you're negative with yourself all the time? If you're tearing yourself down all the time? If you're making everything you do wrong? Because actually, mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow, and practice makes permanent. It doesn't make perfect. We're not going to be perfect here on earth. We're always a work
Yes.
in progress. And if you have a different attitude and you start beginning to work with yourself like that and being kind, patient, and tolerant, because it's going to take a while, maybe a whole lifetime, who knows? You're going to start to turn that ship around and feel different.
Yeah, Arlene, that's deep. I feel like we were in class there for a moment. Um,
Sorry.
that's all right. I'm glad. I'm really intrigued by the direction that you're taking this. Let's bring a situation that's imaginary. Someone who is a CEO, for example, and is struggling with work and life balance. They take most of what they do home and they can't separate one from the other, and one is interfering with the other. Things are getting in the way and things are getting messy. It's affecting their home life, their marriage, their ability to be the kind of father that is there for the children if there's children involved. How do you help them realize that they need to make a separation that would create a balance and not one where one goes into the other and there's interference?
Well, first of all, I didn't put it in my little summary, but I bring balance and harmony into it, because as an attorney, balance feels like the scales of justice, and nothing's ever
Yes,
perfect in the legal system. But if you bring in
right.
that harmony, it helps as well. And I guess as a mentor, people can stand on my shoulders and I can give them advice and give them things to do, like how to work with your inner coach. As a coach, basically, it's a different process. I know that my clients have all the answers inside of them. It's my job to partner with them from the heart and see where we go. But oftentimes, when you hold, because as coaches, at least the way I was taught as a coach, we hold it
Mhm.
like a really huge judgment space of really unconditional love, so that someone can be heard and understood. And oftentimes, what I find is that when we provide that space for somebody, they're going to come to these realizations themselves. They're going to see where their behaviors of bringing all that work home is damaging their life, and they'll want to bring it to the table. It might not be right away. And the other way that I do it also is I might just reflect back, what I'm noticing in their body language, their tone of voice, and what they're
Yes.
saying, and then
Yes.
hand it back to them, and go, how does that resonate with you or not? Or what would you like to do with that? So that they can hear it and then decide where to from here. Because I don't know about you, I don't do very well with someone saying, you need to do this. But when I come up with my own realization and I really get it and I want to move forward, it's a whole different deal. And so that's the kind of way I like to work with my coaching clients.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So we're gonna shift gears a bit, and I'm gonna play something here for us, Arlene, and I want you to do a little color commentary after it's over. Here we go.
Hello, this is Arlene Cohen Miller of Jewel Consultancy. And continuing with something we've talked about previously, work life balance, and what we focus on is what we get more of in our lives. So let's expand upon that. Let's say we have a project or goal that we're working on with a group of people. If we individually and as a group focus on all the things that could or are going wrong with the project or goal, we're just telling the universe, hey, we want to have more of that in our life, more things that are going wrong. We want to take care of whatever's happening on the ground and remedy it. But our focus in all moments, together, individually, and as a group, is the ideal of what we are creating in our lives, what we're creating for our business, what we're creating for our organization, for our group. The actual ideal of that, how it's going to look, how it's going to feel as the highest, clearest, brightest outcome. That's how we use the law of attraction. That's how we focus on it from the heart to create what we're choosing to have happen in our lives for the highest good of all concerned. I hope this helps.
I love it. I love it. I want you to emphasize, especially on the last part, the law of attraction, bringing in the positive stuff and negating that of the negative. So good.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so prevalent in our world. It's like we're taught to focus on everything we're doing wrong, or and as I shared before, mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. And if we have that mindset, we're going to make lots of mistakes. So what? How can I learn and grow from this? Because if you look at all the most amazing inventors or people on the planet that have brought amazing things, whether it's the Wright brothers with the plane or Thomas Edison with the light bulb, they have probably had more failures than we have even tried. And I like to use those people for inspiration, um, that it's just an opportunity to learn and grow. In the law of attraction, oftentimes we are focusing on the reverse of an idea. Everything that could go wrong with what we want to do, everything that could go wrong with our life, instead of focusing on, the beautiful things and the things that we're grateful for and how we can build what we already have, that beautiful foundation from here.
Wow, I love it. I love it. It reminds me of this study I did recently on people that really took time to push and diligently seek to discover the things that they believe. And Thomas Edison is a fine example. 1,000 times he tried before he was credited with the invention of the incandescent light bulb. I mean, 1,000 times. Think about it. He could have given up after maybe 100, but he persevered and eventually succeeded. Walt Disney is another fine example. He came to Hollywood, Los Angeles area with just about $50 in his pocket. And guess what? When he started telling people about his animated ideas, he visited about over 200 persons, and everybody turned him down and said, nah, we can't do this because it was something so new, so different that they couldn't see it. But he had a vision. And look where Disney World is now. So, yeah, I get it. I get it. That's really wonderful. So, in terms of the people that you work with, do you see, Arlene, some level of pattern with regards to the challenges that they face, or is there a varied amount of challenges that they come to you with as a mentor, and as a coach?
I just find that a lot of people are really stressed out.
Wow.
When I was growing up, my mother came from a very poor family and she thought that she had made it, for
Yeah.
a generation. I'm a baby boomer, and that she could be a stay-at-home mom with me. And a lot of families do not have that option. And I feel that families, people should have options of how they want to live their life. And a lot of families, they have kids and they have other duties and responsibilities. Both parents need to be working in order to have a roof over your head and food on the table and take care of the children. And so people come to me with a lot more stress than I think they did maybe, 50 years ago. And so that's where we start, because if you're all stressed out, then you're going to be contracted and playing small and helping them to see opportunities and possibilities and ways that they can let go of that stress, or is that's going to be really helpful, because if their mind shift changes and they feel more expanded out instead of all contracted in fear, the obstacles and challenges in their life are going to be a lot more easy to move through. So sometimes that's the basic thing. Sometimes it's just people, some people are not like that. They just have goals and they want to work through them and make sure that they're not focusing on that reverse of an idea, what's not working, and just have someone to bounce things off of and see where to from here. But a lot of people I do get today are very stressed.
Mm. Wow. A lot of people that come on the show talk about the level of stress that many of their clients and associates and friends and family members are experiencing. And it seems to have been exacerbated by the fact that many of us have come out of COVID 19, but have not gone back to some semblance of normalcy yet in so many different ways. How important, Arlene, is community in terms of the level of stress that people have? And community, I'm looking at it from two ways. One, the community in which you actually live, and the community in terms of the social connections with people that you have on a daily basis. What role do they play in terms of that level of stress, either in managing it or just being able to find a way to deal with it, like you said, bounce off someone, a mentor, a partner, as the case might be.
Yeah. I feel that together we are better.
Yeah.
And that even if, and I talk to people about, that you don't have to find somebody that agrees with you ever 110%. Maybe you're just interested in hiking, like I'm in Colorado, and you want to join a hiking group and
Yeah.
just, talk with people as you're walking on the trail or whatever. Maybe you're interested in you play a musical instrument, you want to join a group like that, or you want to join some sort of art group. It can be any kind of group where I call it like-minded souls coming together with a common purpose to lift each other up and enjoy some activity. I
Hmm.
find that no matter what people choose when they choose like that, it helps their whole mindset, even if it's just a family thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the families together go hiking in Colorado, or they like to go skiing in the mountains together. But whatever it is to bring that community together, and maybe other families, whatever works for you, whatever your interests are, whatever you're passionate about, whatever lights you up, I feel that that makes a huge positive impact on people's life. It can really change how they feel about everything.
All right. So I'm going to go along an area that I think is probably, I'm guessing, maybe a little closer to your heart in terms of the service that you provide. But I hear this a lot from women, especially those who are kind of making a name for themselves or have found a new niche in life, so to speak. How do you help women who at sometimes feel selfish or guilty for taking time to be progressive in their lives, either with career or personal development? How do you help them to balance the reality of seeing it as just an accomplishment, a step further, rather than something that they're looking at the left or the right to see who says what, who's pointing in what direction, but rather they should feel comfortable about the fact that they're taking time out to actually improve some level or area of their lives.
Right. Well, there's two things that I think are important that you shared. Is number one, I can't tell people, but I live by the model. I can tell them if they're mentoring with me, or maybe I can bring it in a conversation. But I always live by the model that other people's opinions are none of my business. Unless
Yes.
unless it's someone that is more clear and bright than I am, and I really appreciate and value their advice. Most people's opinions are none of my business, and really are more of a reflection of who they are and their fears, and have really nothing to do with me. And the second thing is that it goes back to what I was sharing before. If a lot of this guilt comes, it feels to me like it's genetic, like it's passed down from generations. Because I saw
Wow.
I saw it in my mom, I saw it in my grandmother. My mother, I can remember she felt guilty about buying clothes for herself. My brothers and I were always beautifully dressed, and I can remember being a teenager saying, "Mom, go out and buy yourself some clothes," because
Wow.
she felt guilty, some patterns and programs. And I can remember her mother telling me, and I loved her, wonderful, wonderful woman, that her job was to worry about me. And I'm like, oh my
Wow.
gosh, please don't do that, Grandma. But it feels like it's passed down from generation to generation. So we can acknowledge that, and we can choose to be a new role model, someone that fills her cup up with love, has plenty of love to share them with other people. And so we don't have a reason to feel guilty or bad about ourselves, because we are giving that overflow and to ourselves. And we can be a role model for a new way of being in the world, for women and for everybody. And that's part of my goal, to be a role model for that.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Ali. Appreciate that. So, right now, we're going to take a break for about 27 seconds or so as we look at our friends at fineradioguest.com, the place that if you have something that is able to be put on a social media platform, whether it be a writer, an artist, a coach, a mentor, whatever professional personal development business you're doing, they can help you to get clients as well as to establish yourself on other people's podcasts as well. So, 27 seconds. Here we go. FindRadioGuest.com, the place to click to find guests to interview for free. And if you're a radio show booker, podcaster, talk show host, or television producer, then this is the place to get podcasts and radio interviews or promote your books and products as a guest expert sponsor. FindRadioGuest.com. Check it out. Okay, great. Thank you for our friends at fineradioguest.com for their continued commitment and support to building professional images and brands all over the world via the internet and the many social media platforms we have out there. So, our guest is Arlene Cohen Miller, and she is talking about empower your inner voice from critic to coach. In our profession, I'm a life and development coach as well. I often hear people say that they have conflicting inner voices, and at times they are concerned about which one they should really listen to. And that's a deep place to be, and sometimes it's quite concerning. Have you had the experience, Arlene, where people come to you and they say, I really want to go this way, I really want to do that, but something is always telling me go the other way. How do I deal with that?
Well, I think, and this is my personal experience, because
Sure.
used to have a lot of, with Charlie Brown, whack, whack, whack in my ear,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and all that inner critic stuff. And I thought it was who I was, but it's not
Mm,
who I am. It's just,
yes.
kind of like the ego or the personality, that doesn't want to change, that doesn't want to evolve and grow, that wants to just, like my joke is, sit on the couch and eat potato chips and do nothing. But the
Yeah.
soul that we are wants to soar and wants to go places and do things. And that's the part of us we need to have in the driver's seat. And so, we can acknowledge that there's these bits of us that don't want to do that, and that's fine. But we're the adult, we can parent them. I hear what you're saying. I know that you don't want to do this, but this is what I'm passionate about. This is where we're going, and you don't have to do it. I am going to do it. And I think that's a good way to begin. And just to, first of all and foremost, we need to be aware. For years, in my 20s, I wasn't even aware of that voice. I thought it was who I was. And so I
Mm,
think we're taught that that's who we are, that,
mhm.
I mean, I felt like in order to connect with other women, I had to tell them all my problems in my life. And
Wow.
I was just like
Wow.
using the reverse of an idea for the law of attraction. So, and I don't think I'm that different from other people. I think there's a lot of ways that people are taught that, either, actually verbally, or just, by how other people act. So I guess that's how I would help them to handle that problem is, and I guess I'm passionate about it because I lived through it, and I experienced, how horrible that is for yourself to be in that place.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. So, as a meditation facilitator, what are some simple practices that you can recommend for people and its benefits as well?
Right. Well, people get freaked out about meditation. They think they have to sit there for
Hmm.
hours and, not move and make,
Hmm.
or something
Yeah.
like that. And that's not the case. But
Right.
a really simple breath work technique is we want to take our bodies out from fight or flight to rest and relax mode. And all you really have to do is breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, having the out breath longer than your in breath. And just do it until you begin to feel relaxed. You can do it while you're listening to someone or driving your car. It doesn't have to be a different time. And your body will go, oh, I can rest and relax. And another easy way that for people to begin to meditate is just to go out in nature. Nature is so calming, so beautiful. We need to get away from our computers and all that electromagnetic radiation and
Yeah.
enjoy the beauty of nature. So I'm not talking about a power walk. I'm just talking about a walk where you really appreciate the beauty around you. And so those are two very simple techniques that you can apply like today. I mean, there's tons of meditation videos on YouTube and all other places, and they go from like 5 minutes to an hour and a half or whatever. So you can find ones that resonate with you. But these are like two simple techniques that we can do to begin to feel different.
Thank you. Thank you, Arlene, for sharing. Appreciate that. So I just want to continue in the vein of what you had just spoken, but a little direction, maybe um, more up one of the areas that you're more connected to and concerned about. And I entitle this Soul Reads. So let's share and then you can comment.
Hello, this is Arlene Cohen Miller, and trying to find a free moment to do a video to tell you guys a little bit about more about soul readings has been really difficult. So here I am in my car, in between appointments, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of heads up of what soul readings are about. So soul readings, I use psychic tarot cards, and basically they've been infused with a lot of love and light, and they're just great for helping you to acknowledge the progress that you've made in your life and really use that for a foundation for moving forward, to really be given insights into places that you're having challenges and some skills and tools that you could use to move through them in a new and more productive way, and to really answer any of your deep heartfelt questions that can help you to move forward with your evolution, to help you, I guess, have a clearer, brighter, more joyful life on just so many levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So you're just a more, I guess, content, self-assured, well-rounded person, and that you have the more of an opportunity to give back in a way that really makes your heart sing. So I really do love soul readings, and some of my friends say you should do an article. Oops, there's noises on my cell phone. An article, because I used to be a commercial attorney and now I'm doing soul readings. Why the heck do you do that? It's because of the joy that I get from seeing people move forward in a brand new way. So if you have any questions or comments, please message me. You can always email me at arlene1 at jewelconsultancy.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take good care.
Yeah, good talk. Good talk. Oh my goodness. Tell us a bit more about the Soul Reads.
Um, I just love it because basically I like heart connect with the other person. I can do it over the phone, and what I love
Mhm.
about it is that a lot of adults are, they're visual, they're auditory, but they pick some of the cards, I pick some of the cards, and then I do the reading for them. And basically, because they have the visuals of what the cards look like and they can get a feeling of it, I find that it's just a way that people can really, it can go, oh wow, I get this. It's just it's for me, it's another form of mentoring. I'm not psychic, but I can like heart connect with other people and help them, to move forward in their lives. It's not like I go say, oh, this is how you're going to get a man, or this is how you're going to win the lottery. It's all about, your personal evolution and growth, and the obstacles that are coming up for you and how to move around them so that you don't fall into a deep dark hole. A lot of people seem to just fall into all the feelings of fear, doubt, and disbelief instead of knowing that they can just take little steps around them and get to where they really love to go in their life. And so, yeah, it brings me a lot of joy and people love it. And I always ask them to record the session so they can continue to work with it because I can talk pretty fast. And yeah, it seems to really benefit people. And so I find there's a lot of joy on both sides.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So I want to give you the opportunity. We have about just about 4.5 minutes before we wrap up. But I'm gonna put along the screen there, I think, some of your hashtag handles. You tell them which ones you prefer they make contact with you should they need your services and your core competencies.
Oh, okay. They're on the bottom. I didn't know where they were.
Yeah,
Well,
it's on the
the
bottom.
easiest way to get in touch with me is just my name is Arlene Cohen Miller. Just write that down if you Google it. I think I'm the only one out there. And I guess that's why I kept the name Cohen. I've been divorced, and Cohen is my son's last name, and I wanted to honor him with that. So you can always find that. You can always find me on Jewel Consultancy, my website, and you can text me. I know a lot of people are nervous about giving the phone numbers, but just refer to Andy in the show. Text me at 720-936-2634. We can have a little conversation by text or on the phone, and I'm happy to talk with you and see how that goes.
Wow, sounds good. Thank you for sharing. I'll put that number as well in the show notes, Arlene. No biggie. So I'm gonna just leave that scrolling across the bottom as we look to wrap up. In terms of the future for Jewel Consultancy, where do you see yourself going in terms of the services that you're offering? Are there any new things that you're working on that you think is going to make a difference, help people become much more certified about themselves and really choose a more positive and endearing path going forward?
Well, I do love the coaching and mentoring and the soul readings. I probably am going to be stepping out into some speaking engagements in the next year, maybe some
Nice.
workshops and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I'll keep you guys posted when that happens, and it's sort of like a little tiny seed right now, but I'm really enjoying learning all about this area of my life. And so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, sounds like something to look forward to. When
Thank
you
you.
look back at your life, Arlene, do you see any highlighted moments where you think a shift took place and there was a transition period that you were really happy and proud about?
Yeah, well, there was a couple of times when I chose to sell my law firm in it's a solo practice in Cleveland, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, and move with my 9-year-old son across country to be a partner in that small boutique law firm. That was a big deal.
Yeah,
I was moving
yeah.
to a place on the western part of the U.S. and I was selling my business, and I was, I knew that the practice of law that they were in, but that took a lot of courage. And I could have said no, and I could have just said, well, I'll just stay small here. But it really felt like the best thing for all concerned. My son had asthma, and it went away when we came out to Colorado,
Wow.
and
Wow.
it just felt like it was going to be a good move for him as well, and it's been a great move for him. So yeah, I took a deep breath and I just felt that this was the right thing to do. And no matter what anyone else said, I did it. And so, I recommend that if you feel that inspiration to remember that inspiration when everything else comes up and the fears and the doubts, just to remember that inspiration moving forward.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. So let's just imagine that you have this grand megaphone and to the 7.8 billion or so people on planet Earth, you can make a statement that you know is going to make a really great impact on their lives. What would you say to them, Arlene?
I would say that there's a lot of separation energies out there that are trying to take us apart, and that we
Yeah,
really have more in common than
yeah.
anyone else knows about. And then, if we really want to make a difference in the world, instead of looking for our differences, look for what's common in other people. Even if you
Mm,
don't agree with their views on something, lots of times the way to bring more light and love into the world is to acknowledge other people for our similarities and to also work on that in your day-to-day life and to bring kindness and patience and tolerance for yourself into all that you do.
wonderful. That's a glorious note to end on. And we have been in the company of Arlene Cohen Miller as we spoke about empower your inner voice from critic to coach. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are live in Transactional Conversations. It's the place where you can learn to develop intentionality, clarity, and purpose. So keep on doing that. Until next time, we want to say to you, keep strong, keep safe, keep blessed, and keep doing what is best, not just for yourself, but for everyone else as well. Bye for now, folks. Until next time.